Beerus steps forward. Don't make the mistake of underestimating us.
Darius calmly turns toward him. It isn't a mistake to recognize weakness for what it truly is. Every god of destruction immediately flares with anger. Just then, a lone figure walks out from among them. It is Jin, the god of destruction of Universe 12. His eyes never leave Darius. "I'll go first." Champa immediately calls out to him, "Jin, this isn't a game." Ignoring the warning, Jin continues walking toward the demon without hesitation. Behind him, Champa clenches his fists. "We have to fuse before fighting him. It's the only chance we'll ever have of defeating that monster." Jin comes to a halt. He slowly turns back toward the other gods of destruction. "Trust me." Beerus immediately snaps back. "You idiot! You're going to get yourself killed." Jin calmly clenches his fist. "I've never fought a battle using my full power alone." His eyes hardened with determination. "But today, I have no choice." Beerus scowls. "Stop trying to play the hero." Jin shakes his head. "I'm not trying to be a hero." He turns toward Darius. "I simply want to discover how far the limits of a god truly extend." Without another word, Jin steps onto the battlefield. Stopping only a few meters away, he faces Darius. The demon studies him in silence. "You came alone?" Jin's expression never changes. "I'll be more than enough for you." A faint smile appears across Darius. Every warrior who dies always says the same thing. Darius smiles and says, "Come on, destroyer." Silence had fallen over the arena, heavier than ever before. Broken chunks of rock floated through the air in every direction. Deep cracks covered the ground, and a faint violet glow of destruction energy seeped out from within them. Yet even in the midst of all this devastation, Darius stood completely calm. Both of his hands were clasped behind his back. There was no anger on his face, no exhaustion, no trace of concern. He simply stared at the gods of destruction standing before him, as if he wasn't standing on a battlefield, but waiting for a weak performance to begin. Standing among the gods, Champa gritted his teeth. His destruction energy erupted repeatedly around his body. Beerus kept his eyes locked on Darius. His expression remained calm, but his clenched fist revealed that he fully understood the seriousness of the situation. Not far away, inside the divine barrier created by the Grand Priest, Goku and Vegeta stood watching. The usual excitement had disappeared from Goku's face. He spoke quietly. "I still can't understand that demon's energy." Without taking his eyes off Darius, Vegeta replied, "Because he's hiding it." Goku looked at Darius carefully. "Hiding it?" Vegeta narrowed his eyes. "No. Maybe he simply hasn't needed to release it yet." Goku was about to say something when the god of destruction of Universe 12, Jin, stepped forward from among the gods. His footsteps were slow, but there wasn't a hint of hesitation in them. Champa immediately turned toward him. "Jin!" Jin didn't stop. Champa shouted angrily, "This isn't a joke! You saw what he did to the other warriors!" Jin continued walking toward Darius. "I'll go first." Champa stretched out his hand. "We shouldn't fight separately. We all have to fuse. Only then can we even think about defeating that demon." Jin stopped walking. For a few moments, he stood there in complete silence. Then he slightly turned his head back. "Trust me." Beerus's eyes flared with anger. "Idiot! If you face him alone, you'll die." Jin answered without hesitation. "In my entire life, I've never used my full power alone in a fight. He clenched his fist tightly. Violet sparks burst around his hand. Every time I had to hold back my power to protect my universe. Every time I had to step back. He looked at Darius. But if I don't see my true limit today, I may never get another chance. Beerus wanted to step in front of him, but Whis gently lowered his staff in his path. Beerus glared at Whis. Whis wore a serious expression. "Let him go, Lord Beerus." Beerus roared, "You know he's going to die." Whis replied softly, "He knows that too." Jin looked at Beerus. Beerus said, "Don't try to be a hero." A faint but resolute smile appeared on Jin's face. "I'm not going there to become a hero." He turned back toward Darius. "I just want to see how far a god's limit truly goes." Jin took another step, and his body vanished from where he stood. The very next instant, he appeared directly in front of Darius. Even after Jin's sudden appearance before him, Darius didn't change his stance. He merely lowered his gaze slightly. "You came alone?" Without blinking, Jin answered, "I'm more than enough for you." A faint smile appeared on Darius's lips. That's always the first line spoken by every warrior before they die. Jin didn't waste a second replying. His right punch shot straight towards Darius's face. The punch was so fast that it created a white pressure ring in the air. A terrifying shockwave spread across the entire arena. The remaining fragments of the shattered mountains were pulverized in midair. But Jin's punch never reached Darius's face. Darius stopped it with a single finger. Jin's eyes widened. The entire destructive force behind his punch crashed against Darius's finger and burst outward in every direction. Yet Darius's hand didn't move back even an inch. Darius asked, "Is that all?" Jin instantly spun his body and launched a spinning kick toward Darius's neck. Darius simply leaned his head back slightly. The kick passed just inches in front of his face. Before the kick had even completed its motion, Jin shifted his momentum and drove another punch upward from below. Darius stepped to the side. Jin followed with an elbow strike. Darius ducked. Then came a knee attack, a palm strike, a back fist, and then dozens of punches unleashed all at once. Jin's attacks became so fast that multiple afterimages appeared around Darius. With every punch, tiny violet cracks in space itself formed. Yet Darius still kept both of his hands behind his back. He avoided every single attack by mere millimeters. Sometimes he slightly lowered his head, sometimes he turned his shoulder, sometimes he took a small step backward. Not a single one of Jin's attacks could touch him. The tension on Champa's face grew even greater. He can't even touch him. Beerus carefully watched Darius's eyes. Then his expression became even more serious. No. Champa looked at him. Beerus said, "Darius isn't even looking at Jin's attacks." Goku said in shock, "What?" Vegeta focused on Darius's eyes. Darius's gaze remained fixed directly on Jin's face. He wasn't looking at Jin's hands or feet at all. Vegeta gritted his teeth. He's not dodging by reacting to the attacks. He already knows where Jin is going to attack. Goku said quietly, "Like Ultra Instinct?" Whis replied, "No, Goku. Ultra Instinct allows the body to react on its own. Darius is doing something entirely different." For the first time, even the Grand Priest focused on Darius more intensely. He's reading Jin's muscle movements, his breathing, his energy flow, everything at the same time. Jin threw another punch. Darius avoided it once again. Furious, Jin abruptly stopped his movement mid-air and landed several meters away from Darius. His breathing had become heavy. Darius said, "Your speed isn't bad." Jin clenched his teeth. Darius continued, "But before every attack, you turn your intent into energy. Your body attacks afterward. Your energy tells me what you're about to do before you even move." Jin shouted angrily, "Then stop reading my energy." With a furious roar, he released all of his destruction energy. A colossal pillar of violet and silver light erupted from the arena and shot into the sky. The overwhelming pressure forced the ground to collapse through multiple layers. The artificial sky above the arena began to crack apart. Brilliant violet flames ignited around Jin's body. His muscles became even denser. Lines of destruction energy began appearing across his shoulders and arms. At first, the lines were thin. Then they gradually became deeper and more pronounced. The pupils in his eyes disappeared. In their place, a pure white light began to shine. Jin raised his head and let out a roar so powerful that every remaining pillar in the arena shattered. Goku raised his arm in front of his face. This power is completely different from before. Vegeta said, "He's converting his life force into destruction energy." Whis spoke in a grave voice, "This is Jin's hidden form." Beerus looked at him. "Then why has he never used it before?" Whis replied, "Because in this form his power grows stronger every second, but at the same rate his life force burns away." Champa's eyes widened. "You mean the longer he fights," Whis finished the sentence, "the sooner he'll die." In his new form, Jin looked at Darius. His voice was much heavier than before. "Now you won't be able to ignore me." Darius answered calmly, "I wasn't ignoring you." For the first time, he looked directly into Jin's eyes. "I was trying to understand you." Jin asked, "And what did you learn?" Without the slightest expression, Darius replied, "That you're completely worthless." For a brief moment, Jin's violet aura exploded violently. The very next second, he appeared right in front of Darius. This time, his speed was so overwhelming that even several angels in the arena couldn't clearly follow his movement. Only flashes of violet and silver flickered across the battlefield. Jin's punch shot toward Darius's face. For the first time, Darius brought one of his hands out from behind his back. He caught Jin's fist. The impact compressed the space around them into a circular distortion. Jin instantly raised his other hand in front of Darius's chest. Destruction burst. A violet-silver blast erupted at point-blank range. The blast completely engulfed Darius. A catastrophic explosion erased the center of the arena in a blinding light. The pressure waves slammed into the spectators' barrier. Even the Grand Priest's divine barrier trembled for a few moments. Goku narrowed his eyes trying to see through the explosion. Did it hit him? Vegeta didn't answer. Jin retreated from the blast and hovered in the air. His breathing was heavy. Smoke rose from his hand. He said, "Now let's see you." His words stopped halfway. The smoke slowly began to clear. At the center of the explosion, Darius was still standing exactly where he had been. Not even a mark on his clothes. Not a single scratch could be seen on his face. For the first time, the anger on Jin's face turned into shock. Darius asked, "What was I supposed to see?" Before Jin could say a single word, Darius vanished. Jin immediately tried to turn around, but Darius was already right in front of him, so close that Jin didn't even have time to react. Darius said, "Now it's my turn." He raised his open palm in front of Jin's chest. No massive attack was charged. No energy sphere was formed. Only a faint, dark red light flickered within his palm. The next instant, a pulse of dark energy struck Jin in the chest. There was no explosion, yet Jin's entire body bent in half from the impact. Blood burst from his mouth. Behind him, dozens of layers of space shattered simultaneously. Like a shooting star, Jin was hurled across the arena and slammed into the ground. A trench stretching for kilometers was carved into the battlefield. His body tore through several mountains before finally crashing into the arena's outer wall. Only then did he come to a stop. Champa shouted, "Jin!" Violet energy flickered around Jin's body. His trembling hand pressed against the ground. He struggled to rise. I'm still... Darius was already standing in front of him. He looked down at Jin. Your fight is over. Jin angrily tried to throw another punch, but his arm stopped halfway. His life force was fading at an alarming rate. Even so, Jin dragged himself back to his feet. As long as I'm standing, this fight isn't over. Darius watched him for a few moments. It's that way of thinking that makes it difficult to tell the difference between warriors and fools. With a furious roar, Jin unleashed every last bit of his remaining destruction energy. A gigantic beast-like form of violet flames materialized around him. Jin charged straight at Darius, but Darius simply raised one hand towards him. A small sphere of dark energy formed before his fingertips. There wasn't a trace of fear on Jin's face. For the last time, he looked at Champa, Beerus, and the other gods. Now it's your turn. This time, don't hold back. A dark red glow flashed across Darius's eyes.
Void execution. The dark blast was unleashed. The moment Jin's violet energy collided with it, it began to crumble apart. For a few seconds, Jin's silhouette remained visible within the darkness. Then it vanished as well. His aura, his life force, his divine presence, everything disappeared from the arena at once. When the blast finally faded, only a deep black crater remained. There wasn't a single trace of Jin left. All the gods fell silent. Champa's hand trembled. He whispered, "He treated even Jin's full power like it was nothing." Beerus clenched his fist so tightly that his nails dug into his palm. Keeping his eyes fixed on Darius, he said, "We have no option left except fusion." The gods looked at one another. No one objected. No one asked a question. They all understood. Fighting separately now would only mean walking toward death one by one. Champa stepped forward first. Formed the circle. The gods took their positions in different directions. A massive divine circle formed between them. Beerus looked toward Whis. Whis's expression had become even more solemn. Once the fusion is complete, separating again will be extremely difficult. Beerus answered without hesitation, "If we don't fuse, there won't be anyone left to separate." Goku stepped closer to the barrier. "Beerus-sama!" Without looking at him, Beerus spoke, "Son Goku, this time, don't do anything reckless." Vegeta gritted his teeth. Beerus continued, "No matter what happens, stay inside the barrier." Vegeta said angrily, "You expect us to stand here and do nothing while—" For the first time, Beerus looked directly at him. There was no anger in his eyes, only an unyielding command. "Vegeta, you don't have to fight every battle yourself to protect your universe. Sometimes, staying alive is also a responsibility." Vegeta fell silent. Champa roared, "Everyone get ready!" In the very next instant, every god released their destruction energy. Violet, crimson, blue, golden, black, silver. Hakai energies of different colors surged throughout the arena. At first, each energy rejected the others. Violent lightning erupted wherever they collided. Massive sections of the ground rose into the air and disintegrated into dust. Whis said, "Their destruction energies are opposing one another." Vados said with concern, "If the balance breaks, before the fusion is even complete." The Grand Priest raised his staff. A transparent divine layer formed around the circle. "I can stabilize the energies for a few seconds. After that, everything will depend on their willpower." Champa shouted at the top of his lungs, "Don't hold back your energy. Channel everything into a single point." Beerus released his full aura.
Jin bought us this time. Don't let his sacrifice go to waste." The energies of every god began converging at the center of the circle. At first, they formed a violent sphere. Then the sphere began to collapse inward. From within it, the voices of multiple gods roared together. The light of the arena vanished in an instant. The very next second, a blinding explosion erupted. Goku and Vegeta instinctively covered their faces with their arms. The angels' robes began to billow violently in the air. The Grand Priest's derriere was pushed back through several layers. Darius remained where he stood, silently watching everything. For the first time, a faint hint of interest appeared in his eyes. The light gradually began to fade. At the center of the circle, the gods were gone. Only a single new warrior stood there.
Hello, everyone!